So with side steps, the muscles we're trying to get after are our hip abductors and our hip external rotators, specifically the deep 6 rotators in your hips, the external rotation fibers of your glute max and your glute med and min. Now, I see a lot of people doing side step exercises with bands around their ankles. This is fine, that's one way to do it. The problem I have with this is it does not optimally recruit the external rotation fibers of the glute max or the deep rotators that we're trying to get after. The reason why, with the band below our knees, as I lift and kick, I am creating an internal rotation motion at my hip. This band is actually pulling my leg into external rotation here. So what I prefer to have people do is actually do this exercise with the band above their knees. So now I've created a moment with the band pulling me into internal rotation that I have to overcome with my glute max and external rotators. So everybody see the difference in that? So from here, what you can do is different variations, whether it's diagonals front to back, we can do staggered side steps, we can do monster walk forward, monster walk backwards, whatever your heart desires. Band above the knees, make sure we got a good neutral pelvis and we're not dumping forward and sticking our butt out. Now if you're really feeling froggy, what you can do is add another band. We can either go at the ankles so that you do incorporate some of those hip internal rotators, or what you can do is move that band down to your forefeet. So now what I'm going to get into also is the peroneals or fibulari, okay, up here on my lower leg, to help with some ankle stability. Have fun with this one. So if a side step exercise is getting pretty easy for you, what you can do is challenge yourself a little bit more by adding an anti-rotational component to it. So some sort of light colored banding or a light cable pulling machine would work. You want to hold this band directly out in front of you. Make sure you got your tailbone tucked underneath you and ribs pulled in. Couple steps out and a couple steps back. So this is an exercise I call Val Slide Skater. What we're working on here is closed chain hip abduction. Okay, we're not letting our pelvis drop. We're not letting our knee get pulled in. So we're getting our hip abductors and external rotators again with this one. I have all my weight on my stance leg. This is the leg I am exercising, not the one that's about to move. From here I'm kicking back and out, more out than back. The goal is I do not want my knee to move as I am doing this. As I kick out, this band is going to try to pull this knee in with it. I need to resist it with an isometric contraction to keep my hip, knee, and ankle all lined up. So this is a little different exercise. I need you to position yourself on the ground so your hip and knee are bent to about 90 degrees. And what we're going for is a straight line down from your knee, extending up through your hip and into your shoulder. So from here, you need to take either a foam roller, a ball, a big towel, pillow, what have you, and it needs to be placed underneath your knee. So what I am doing is I am hugging down with my left leg right now. I'm hugging down into this roller. As I'm hugging down, I'm going to take a breath in through my nose, and as I exhale, I am lifting that foot up, so I'm going into hip internal rotation. As I inhale, I let it drop back down. Exhale, lift back up. The trick is, as I'm rotating, I should be squeezing down into that roller the whole time. The goal here is we're trying to work our adductor on our top leg and also the anterior fibers of this glute med, which helps seat the femoral head properly within the acetabulum. So here, I need you to position yourself with your back against the wall. So my bottom butt cheek is touching the wall, my shoulder blade is touching the wall, my heel of my left foot is touching the wall. Okay, everything is squared up. What we're working on here is hip abduction. I like to use the wall because a lot of people, when they do this exercise, again, like to cheat using that TFL. And when you start doing them like this, we're making a problem worse. We're not correcting anything. So, lined up against the wall, heels touching the wall. I'm reaching along with this leg,
I have my hand tucked in underneath my side to make sure I can keep a rigid core and a good tunnel for my hand as I lift my leg up. If I feel like when I lift my leg up, I'm crushing my hand, it's because you're using your back to complete the motion. So we want a nice long leg, tunnel for your hand, sliding up the wall. Now what you can do to make this exercise a little bit harder, if you are able to, you want to keep your pelvis square, and if you can rotate your foot up without rotating your pelvis, you will actually engage the posterior fibers of that glute med a little bit more. Now if you rotate and you start to feel it in the front of your hip, just go back to toe forward. This should be all glute med, posterior hip here.